Hi, what do you think of my new T-shirt? Yes, had these made up on Vistaprint. Yeah, pretty cheap, and just kind of waving the flag here at lunacon 2010, day 2, Saturday, September, Saturday, March 20th. Is this the first day of spring? It sure feels like it. It's beautiful out, and no, what the hell? I paid for this in advance, so I'm stuck in here. I've been getting out as much as I can. It's gorgeous up here in Rye, New York, at the Hilton. So, how have I been spending my day? Well, getting out as much as I can, but also, you know, networking here at the con, and went to a few readings today. Hildy Silverman from the Garden State Horror Writers had this very cool short story that she submitted to Patrick Thomas's new vampire anthology, and it's non-traditional vampires. In the case of Hildy's vampire, it's a suburban New Jersey shopping mall escalator that eats human flesh. Actually, I had that in a story once myself. She beat me to publication, though. Good for you, Hildy. Anyway, I also dropped by a reading for Michelle Lang, who is a really good writer, and she came this close to joining the LI Sci-Fi Crit Group, which I've been a part of. Amy Lau tried to reel her in, but just as she was ready to join a Crit Group, her career just blew up, and suddenly she's a major author, and so she's she's got what, 3 books a year to pound out, and she can't be going slow for us. So anyway, we wish her all the best of success. And it turns out she didn't even read today because it was just friends of hers who showed up for the reading, and we're all going to be seeing her at Icon in another week, so she'll do the reading there. All right, so what else we got going here? Yeah, speaking of Icon, there's going to be a reception in room 2015 after the masquerade. I guess that starts around 10:30 tonight. I'll drop by. All right, so I also went to a couple of panels. First panel I was going to attend was on comedy, of course, and ended up just walking out 5 minutes after I walked in because I couldn't understand a word anyone on the panel was saying. And the reason for that is that they put the panel in Westchester Ballroom Section B, or Section D, and in Section C they put this very loud, punky wall of sound duet, also kind of jam bandy. Remember this name? They are called Gypsy Nomad. Download their stuff, buy their CDs. These two are awesome, and I'm going to try to post a little cell phone video. But there were a couple of dancers involved, name of Louisa and Ariel, lovely, talented young ladies, and I would want their permission before I posted this to I posted this online. So no promises, but really awesome band. You got to check them out. I did get to the zombie survival panel, and the leading light on that was a guy named Jonathan Maybury. Maybury, I'm not sure exactly how he pronounces it, but you will recognize the byline. If you're a comics fan, this is the guy who contributed to Marvel Zombies Return, and he also has an original traditional fiction book about zombies called Patient Zero. Um, but I ran into Kim Paffenroth and got an autographed book for me, and he wasn't on any of the zombie panels, which is weird. But anyway, Jonathan was, and he's an interesting guy. First of all, he's a big, imposing-looking guy, and he's a swordsman, and he's a martial arts master. I believe he said he was a Taekwondo black belt, and let's face it, he's the kind of guy that, had this been a real horror movie, he'd been the first one killed. and that's just to move the plot along. Now, he argued this point on the panel, but frankly speaking, in a horror movie, the big burly guy is the first one to get it, because what happens is the fight against the big bad goes on for the next 20 minutes, and all the survivors are wishing that he were still around because he'd be the most useful in this fight. So I asked him, Jonathan, while you're still alive, how should we handle this zombie outbreak? And he had some very good advice. First of all, he told us to work in pairs. Uh, Basically, person number one takes a pole or a stick or an oar or a chair or whatever and keeps the zombies at bay, while person number two actually comes in with a stabbing device and a sword, a knife, screwdriver, whatever, but work in pairs. And other advice he had was to seek the high ground in a remote location, to get out of the cities if you can. That's all good advice, but as for the high ground, that was actually kind of called into question by another panelist, Susan Palmero, who appears in zombie films here and there. And she says that first thing she does is go to the ocean, so that you've got the sea behind you. If you're on the beach, you got wild water behind you. Zombies might be able, just because they don't need to breathe air and they can survive underwater, doesn't mean they can attack from underwater because of the currents. They don't have the coordination to deal with the strong currents. So anyway, that's another school of thought. But Jonathan says head to the high ground. He also says stay quiet. Dumbest thing the people in the farmhouse in Night of the Living Dead did was board up the windows, because you've got the hammers and the nails and all that sounds attracting the zombies. And maybe the zombies would have just walked right past the house if they hadn't heard the hammering. That's a thought. Also, he says while you're working in pairs with the sticks and the stabbing, if you're indoors, you're probably in a place that's carpeted or has rugs. Tear up the carpeting, wrap that around your arms and legs to prevent you from getting bitten. Back to the real world, Edward X. Young, who stars in some of the direct-to-video type zombie movies, reminds us that there is an Asbury Park zombie walk for charity. It's the first Saturday in May. Be there. And anyway, that does it for the zombie survival panel. The next panel was on blogging and fandom, and I think that the guy in there who brought the most was named Nathan Lilly. I first ran into him at Hildy's reading, and he was doing a video of that. And he mentioned he was doing videos of other readings and other panels as well. And he had some good advice for me and for the rest of the attendees about effective use of online media, and broke down how to go about doing a blog tour and why you should. And there was a big discussion about why you shouldn't. I haven't decided whether or not I'm gonna, but I keep hearing the expression blog tour. I'm gonna see what that's about. All right, so what's next? Well, like I said, there's the Icon party, and I'll behave myself. I'll go, and I'll at least get a free chocolate egg cream out of it. And that's after the masquerade. I'll stick my head in there. And I'm going to see one of Ed Young's horror movies, something new called Green Monster. It's debuting at 1 a.m. Because apparently they can't show it any earlier. So I got to see what that's about. They're also doing a horror makeup demonstration. It's about 25 to 5, so at the top of the hour that's starting. I'm going to try to see that. And there's going to be a reading by Daryl Schweitzer, who I don't know his work very much as a writer, but he's very well renowned as a magazine editor in the genre, and I should drop by, pay my respects, and listen to him read. And after all that, if it's not too late, I'll be back and tell you all about my nocturnal activities. And talk to you then.